I still remember the exact moment it happened. We were standing in line for coffee, arguing in whispers, pretending everything was fine. My girlfriend stared at her phone. I stared at the floor. It felt like the air between us had turned heavy and cold. And then a stranger looked at me, smiled gently, and said, "You seem worth knowing." Those 4 words changed something in me that I didn't even realize was breaking. Before we dive in, if you love real, emotional stories that remind you how powerful simple human moments can be, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Welcome to Your Channel Name, where we tell stories that stay with you long after the video ends. Now let me tell you what happened that night. It was a Friday evening in early fall. The kind of night where the air feels cool but comfortable, and the city seems alive with possibility. My girlfriend, Hannah, and I had been dating for almost 2 years. From the outside, we looked solid. We had pictures on social media, inside jokes, shared playlists. But lately, something felt off. We'd been fighting more. Not explosive fights. The quiet kind. The kind where disappointment replaces laughter. The kind where both people feel misunderstood but don't know how to fix it. That night, we were meeting some of her coworkers for dinner downtown. I didn't really want to go. Work had been draining me. I'd recently been passed over for a promotion I'd worked hard for. I didn't talk about it much, but it stung. It made me question myself. Was I not good enough? Not confident enough? Not impressive enough? Hannah noticed my mood, of course. She always did. But instead of comfort, our conversations had started turning into tension. "You've been distant," she said while we waited in line at the coffee shop before dinner. "I'm just tired," I replied, even though that wasn't the full truth. "You're more than tired," she said softly, but there was frustration under her words. I didn't know how to explain that I felt like I was shrinking. Like I was becoming smaller in my own life. That's when I noticed him. He looked to be in his late 50s, maybe early 60s. Gray hair, worn leather jacket, kind eyes. He wasn't dressed fancy, just simple jeans and boots. He had the relaxed posture of someone who wasn't in a rush. He caught my eye and smiled. Not a polite smile. A knowing one. Then he stepped closer and said, "Sorry to interrupt. I don't mean to intrude. But I just wanted to say, you seem worth knowing." For a second, I thought I misheard him. "Excuse me?" I asked. He chuckled gently. "You just have that look. Thoughtful. Like you carry more than you show. The world needs more people like that." I didn't know what to say. No one had ever said something like that to me before. Especially not a stranger. Hannah looked surprised too. "Thank you," I finally managed. He nodded. "Don't let a hard season convince you you're not enough." Then he turned back toward the counter, as if he hadn't just shaken my entire world. We got our coffee and walked outside in silence. But it wasn't the same silence as before. "What was that about?" Hannah asked. "I don't know," I admitted. But it felt important. We sat on a bench outside the shop. The city lights flickered on, one by one. For the first time in weeks, I felt seen. Not judged. Not measured. Just seen. "Do I seem worth knowing to you?" I asked her quietly. She looked at me, really looked at me. Her eyes softened. "Of course you do," she said. "But lately you've been shutting me out. I miss you." That hit harder than the stranger's words. I realized I had been so focused on my disappointment that I stopped letting anyone in. I had convinced myself that my value was tied to a job title. That if I wasn't moving up, I was falling behind. But that stranger saw something else in me. Something beyond success or status. At dinner, I couldn't stop thinking about him. His calm presence. His certainty. He didn't know my resume. He didn't know my failures. He just saw a human being. And he chose to speak life into him. After dinner, I told Hannah I wanted to walk for a bit before heading home. We strolled down the sidewalk, hands brushing but not fully holding. I've been feeling like I'm not enough, I finally confessed. At work. In life. Maybe even with you. She squeezed my hand. Why didn't you tell me? Because I thought I was supposed to have it together. She stopped walking and faced me. You don't have to be impressive all the time. I just want you. Not the promotion. Not the perfect version. Just you. For the first time in a long while, I felt my guard come down. That stranger's simple sentence had cracked something open. Over the next few days, I couldn't shake the experience. I started noticing how rarely we tell people what we genuinely appreciate about them. We assume they know. We assume someone else will say it. Or we're too busy scrolling, rushing, worrying. A week later, I went back to the same coffee shop around the same time. Part of me hoped I'd see him again. And I did. He was sitting by the window this time, reading a book. I walked up to him. You probably don't remember me, I said. He looked up and smiled immediately. Coffee line guy. I laughed. Yeah. That's me. I told him how much his words meant. How they shifted something in me. How they opened a conversation I needed to have. He listened carefully. Funny thing, he said. Someone did the same for me years ago. I was in a rough spot. Felt invisible. A woman in a grocery store told me I had kind eyes. That was it. Kind eyes. I held on to that for years. He closed his book. You never know what someone's carrying, he continued. Most people are fighting quiet battles. A small word can be a rope thrown into deep water. A rope thrown into deep water. That line stayed with me. I started trying it myself. Not in a fake or forced way. Just when it felt real. I told a coworker I admired her patience with clients. I told my younger brother I was proud of how hard he worked. I told Hannah that her ability to care deeply was one of the strongest things about her. And something shifted. Not just in them. In me. Kindness made me feel less powerless. Less stuck. It reminded me that my value wasn't limited to what I achieved. It was in how I showed up. Months later, I did get another opportunity at work. And this time, I walked into the interview differently. Not desperate to prove myself. Not crushed by doubt. Just steady. I didn't get that job either. But strangely, it didn't break me. Because I no longer believed that rejection defined me. That stranger's words had planted something stronger. Hannah and I grew closer too. Not because everything became perfect. But because we started choosing honesty over pride. Vulnerability over silence. One evening, as we sat on that same bench outside the coffee shop, she smiled at me and said, "You know what? You really are worth knowing." And this time, I believed it. I never learned the stranger's name. A few months after our second conversation, I stopped seeing him there. Maybe he changed his routine. Maybe life moved him somewhere else. But his impact stayed. Sometimes we think kindness has to be grand. Expensive. Public. Viral. But often, it's quiet. A sentence. A compliment. A moment of eye contact that says, "I see you." In a world where so many people feel overlooked, that kind of attention is powerful. I think about how close I was to letting my self-doubt harden me. To pulling further away from the people who loved me. To believing the lie that I wasn't enough. And then I think about a simple smile and 4 unexpected words. You seem worth knowing. If you're watching this right now and you've been feeling invisible, overlooked, or not quite good enough, let me say this to you: you are worth knowing. Not because of what you've achieved. Not because of how polished your life looks online. But because you're human. Because you're trying. Because you care. And maybe the next time you're in line somewhere, at a coffee shop, a grocery store, a gas station, you'll notice someone who looks like they're carrying the weight of the world. Maybe you'll be the one who says something kind. You never know. Your words might be the rope they didn't know they needed. Kindness doesn't just change other people. It changes us too. So this week, look up. Slow down. Speak life when you can. Compliment someone sincerely. Encourage someone quietly. Remind someone they matter. Because sometimes, all it takes is a smile and a simple sentence to rewrite someone's story. And who knows? You might just discover that you're worth knowing too.